Hey Superstars, so good to see you again today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Beth and I'm going to be spending some time with you this morning. First of all, I've got a question for you. Do any of you like to climb? I'm going to go and ask Caden that question now. Do you like to climb?
Yes,
What do you like to climb?
everything.
Oh, why? Why do you like climbing?
I just like climbing.
Is there a particular reason, or it's
No.
just because it's cool?
It's just 'cause it's fun.
Okay, now, do you think you could show me something that you can climb?
Yeah.
Where are we going, front or back garden?
Back garden.
Now, is that as high as you can get?
I could go higher, but it's a bit dangerous.
Okay, so stay there then. Now tell me, what can you see up that tree that you couldn't see from down on the ground?
My friends' houses.
Your friends' houses, can you see any of your friends?
No, they're not out. It's a bit cold today.
It's a bit chilly today, but you can see their houses. So can you see more from up
Almost
there than you can from down here?
Wait.
Way more. Awesome, come down safely. So, by climbing up this tree in our back garden, Caden was able to see into the gardens of some of his friends from school. Does that remind you at all of a story in the Bible? Somebody who climbed a tree so that they could see. I wonder. Kate is going to read us that story now.
This is a story of the man who didn't have any friends. None. In the Jesus Storybook Bible. There was once a man who didn't have any friends. None. Do you have friends? Of course you do. But not Zacchaeus. Poor Zacchaeus didn't have any. You're probably wondering why. Was it because he was so short? That's not a reason not to like someone. Was it because he had a name that was hard to say? Well, neither is that. Even though he was short and he did have a funny name, that wasn't it. No, people didn't like Zacchaeus because he stole their money. Zacchaeus collected taxes. Taxes were what people had to pay the king. But Zacchaeus took more than he was supposed to. He kept the extra money for himself and made himself rich. Everyone knew what he was up to, and it made them cross and grumpy. They didn't like Zacchaeus one bit, so they made sure he knew it by doing things like avoiding him and walking on the other side of the street and pretending not to see him and whispering things like, "There's that nobody who thinks he's a somebody," loud enough so that he could hear. Anyway, one day a huge crowd gathered by the road. Jesus was coming to their town and everybody wanted to see him. Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus too, but everyone was too tall. He tried jumping up and down. That didn't work. He couldn't see a thing. Luckily, Zacchaeus had a good idea. "I'll climb that sycamore tree," he said, and so he did. He was surprisingly good at climbing trees for a man who was so unusually short that he had to take a flying leap just to get into his chair in the morning. From the tree, Zacchaeus had the perfect view, all the way down the road. Another minute and suddenly Jesus was at the tree. He stopped and looked up. Zacchaeus saw Jesus, and Jesus saw Zacchaeus. "Zacchaeus," Jesus said, "I'd like to come over to your house." Zacchaeus almost fell out of the tree. Come over to his house? No one ever wanted to come to his house, let alone inside it. The people saw this, and needless to say, it made them crosser and grumpier than usual. They mumbled and murmured and muttered, Why is Jesus being kind to that big sinner? Doesn't Jesus know about him? Zacchaeus scrambled down and took Jesus to his house. He was in a big hurry because he didn't want Jesus to change his mind. Perhaps Jesus hadn't heard about him. Perhaps Jesus didn't know about how he'd been stealing, and how no one liked him, and how he didn't have any friends. But Jesus knew. He knew all about Zacchaeus and the stealing and everything, and he still loved him. Zacchaeus was ashamed. "Lord," he said, turning pale, "what I've done is wrong, but now I want to do the right thing. I will give the money back to everyone, 4 times what I stole." And that's just what he did. Jesus smiled. "My friend," he said, "today God has rescued you." Jesus loved Zacchaeus when nobody else did. He was Zacchaeus' friend, even when no one else was. Because Jesus was showing people what God's love was like. His wonderful, never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love.
Thanks for reading that story, Kate. I absolutely love the story of Zacchaeus because it tells us of somebody whose life is completely transformed by Jesus. Now, because Zacchaeus had met Jesus, Jesus had come into his home, but more than that, Jesus had come into his heart. Zacchaeus was changed. Isn't that amazing? Now, there's something we've been talking about in the letter that Paul wrote to the Romans. We were talking about lots of different things that he writes about. And one of the things that he writes about is this thing called faith. And faith is trusting, and faith is believing. But that's something that happens inside our heart, and it can't really be seen. So the way that we show our faith is by our works. So here we've got Zacchaeus. He's got this faith that Jesus has changed him on the inside. But now he wants to show everyone how much he's changed. And so we've got works, we've got faith, and we've got works. Faith is Zacchaeus saying, "Jesus, I know you've changed me." And works is this next bit. Watch what he says he's going to do. "Lord," he says, turning pale, "what I've done is wrong, but now I want to do the right thing. I will give the money back to everyone." And the thing is, he doesn't just give back what he's stolen, he gives back 4 times the amount. So his faith is, "Jesus, you've changed me," and his works is, "I'm gonna do something about it, not because I have to, but because I want to." And faith and works go together like that. One without the other is a little bit useless, but together it's a powerful demonstration of what Jesus has done in our lives. But you see, here's the thing about Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to give back the money so that I'll have some friends." He didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to give back the money so that I feel better about myself." He didn't say, "I'm going to give back the money so Jesus might like me even more." It wasn't about that. His faith provoked him to do something because he wanted to do what would please the heart of God. Faith and works. How amazing is that? And Zacchaeus was completely changed. He was rescued. Just out of interest, Zacchaeus' name actually means righteous one. And for a long time in his life, he wasn't righteous. He didn't do the right thing. But through meeting Jesus, having his life changed, he became just that, made righteous through Jesus. How amazing is that? And we are going to sing a song together now. We're going to worship God, our amazing God. And we're going to have some actions. So we can go like this. Our God is a great big God. And we'll do it again. Our God is a great big God. And again, our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. So you can do that bit when the chorus comes up, but you could also try this if you want. He's higher than a skyscraper, and he's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. And then you can go as wild and as crazy as you want to do as we worship our God together. Enjoy.
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. And he holds us in his hands. And he holds us in his hands. And he holds us in his hands.
Isn't that amazing? Our God is a great big God, and God is big enough to take somebody like Zacchaeus, who was a little bit of a meanie, and God changed him. How amazing is that? There is hope for every single one of us. I hope that you have a fantastic week. If you fancy doing that song again and singing along and worshipping along, you can. And we will see you next week for more stories about Jesus. Bye, guys.